posted a link on my blog to another blog which is called The Case Against Free Speech, which was called in our life the case against Chris Alexander, which was also, it turns out, the case against me. I had no idea when I walked into that union meeting that my name was going to be all over that case against Chris Alexander. I didn't have the slightest idea that this was going to happen like that. So I was shocked when I saw my name all over these documents. Now, it's odd that the union would say that, well, I'm not supposed to divulge this publicly or something when it's publicly divulged to everybody at the union. How is that privileged information? How is it privileged information that I wouldn't even have known that my name was being dragged through this muck had I not attended this meeting? I wouldn't have known. Okay, everybody that doesn't go to the meetings doesn't know what's going on in the meetings. And there's no organized methodology for our union to inform us. You know, they don't run a rantings of the ATU 757 where we can see what's happening over there. Okay, they should be doing that. It's not my business. I don't mean to get involved with their, I know they're busy. It's not like they have a huge staff. They're not like TriMet with 10,000 bureaucrats. They basically only have 3 people over there. So I understand the logistics in trying to do that. But, you know, I think that people should be aware that this fight against Chris Alexander, and by de facto me, was all based upon our communications on the internet, which is despicable. It's just despicable that it moved forward at all. You don't like what we're saying. See, if we had been like making up shit, it would have been one thing, you know, making vicious lies about people. It would have been understandable. But the fact that we were talking about actual events makes the whole thing a joke. We were talking about real events, so we were adding comments. We were giving our opinion. And I read the legal definition of defamation. It does not include your opinion. If we want to say this is bullshit and that guy's full of shit or whatever, that guy needs to get laid or whatever the hell we're saying, that's an opinion, okay? That's of no legal relevance, all right? So to go around saying that all of that somehow constitutes defamation is a joke. And so I've detailed the entire case on my blog. So all of the union members and whoever else is interested. I mean, why would anybody be interested in this? Why would anybody want to look at this stuff? It's of no interest to anybody but the people that were involved. But to me, I look at it as, here's my name getting dragged through this muck, okay, because somebody's pissed at me. So they take it out on somebody else, and somehow they link it together with some other shit, and it turns into this big ordeal that John Hunt, now, you know, our president and our officers get stuck dealing with this stuff. You know, that's the last thing in the world they needed to deal with was this right now. And here they are stuck dealing with this nonsense. You know, they got enough signatures apparently to push it forward. You know, people that didn't, I don't know, people that had grudges or whatever, people that really didn't understand the facts, okay, were for this. And, you know, I'm working on a transcript from memory of that meeting that I went to, which was, the first meeting was primarily occupied by anti-Chris Alexander people. I mean, that was where all the old crony pal people attended. And they, you know, were going to support their old crony station agents, I guess. I don't know. I'm making a judgmental opinion about how it was. I don't know any of those people. I don't know anybody there, you know. And you know, John's like, blah, blah. Oh, is this, Al, is that true? And he's like, and I'm like, yeah, it's true what he asked me. And I'm like, I know I have to get the hell out of there as soon as, I came for one thing, the vote. And as soon as that vote was done, I'm gone. And I didn't want to hang around there. And I don't know what happened, but I didn't want to find out, okay. But anyway, people have a right to know, okay, this is not a secret organization. TriMet is not a secret governmental agency, and our union is not a secret union. And people say, oh, I'm a spy for the right wing, and whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. You know, the right-wing people have a right to know, too, as much as you don't like them, and I don't like John Charles, for example. I think he's despicable in his anti-union views, but for me to sit here and condemn everything John Charles says would be hypocrisy, because I agree with stuff that John Charles says. You know, he's not all wacko, but some of it I find disturbing, and I would find it disturbing even if I wasn't a union member. I find the whole anti-union movement disturbing. Without a doubt, it's a very disturbing movement because they're taking out the frustrations of the economic mess on the working man when it was not of any doing of the working people of this country that created the so-called economic mess, which has only touched a very small segment of our general public. 20% of the people of this country are hurting. But the people that control the business interests, who control the media outlets, are trying to use this. These are also people that control the banks. All things go back to the banks and capital. Are trying to use this to undermine labor so that they can pay less, so they can make more for them. Now, to try to educate people to that, it's virtually impossible because they're reacting, oh my God, they have these great union benefits like health care, which every American should have, and retirement, which every American should have. But you see all these poor suckers in the private sector which has failed us, don't have it. The private sector, which if it gets control of every aspect of our lives, will ruin the working population of this country. And if people don't wake up, we are going to be in big trouble here. You know, class envy is a classic tool of the fascist people. I mean, look back into the 30s and 40s. Now, how did they get those people to stand behind them? They used class envy and racial hatred. And people being ignorant fell for it. And what happened to them? You saw how their whole country ended up destroyed, because truth and good will always triumph over evil in the end. And then, you look at things like in World War II, that was really, if you just look at the very basics of it, it was good versus evil, I guess. Although there's no such thing as that in war, because everybody played a part in making that happen, including people in the United States played a part in putting Hitler in power, etc. That's not the point I'm making here. The point I'm making here is that the conservative movement per se does not have to be excluded from understanding the facts and events that are surrounding those people working at TriMet, the company that's providing the transit services to this community. The conservative movement is part of the community, and they have a right to know too. So attempts to paint them as some kind of lunatics, that doesn't wash. Okay, when Ellen Fox makes the accusation that I'm a spy for the conservative right-wingers, it's such a bunch of crap. I'm so far removed from that, although on certain issues I'm aligned with the conservative movement. On certain issues of liberty, I'm absolutely aligned with them. Other issues, I'm not. I'm completely on the other side. But I still support their right to have access to the same information as everybody else. It's either freedom of speech or not freedom of speech. And if it's freedom of speech, that means everybody has a right to say what they have to think, say what's on their mind, and have access to the information to make their decisions.